There is this amazing video that I watched where the mother videoed the changes in her breast milk, like the color change, the composition of the breast milk also changes based on the need of the baby. It was so amazing. Watch this.
So I rarely pump, so I don't really get to see this often, but this is normally what breast milk looks like. It's white, all that good stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary. This is what it looks like when my daughter begins to get sick. So it's a little bit yellow, but not anything crazy. This is when she is sick. It's very yellow. See all that goodness. But this is what really threw me today. Me and my fiance went on a date and I was gone from her for 4 hours, I want to say. My body made milk with a bunch of water because it assumed that my daughter was dehydrated from not eating for 4 hours.
It was so amazing.
Look at how weird that is. How much our bodies acclimate to what our babies need.
So after watching that video, I had to go and do some research to actually find out if what that woman said on that video is actually true. And guess what? It is true. What she said, it's actually true. The mother's body adjusts to the need of the baby when producing breast milk. Now you might be wondering, how is that possible? This is how it happens. When the baby is suckling on the breast, the baby's saliva trickles into the mammary gland. Now there are nerve cells on that mammary gland, and these nerve cells, they have receptors. The receptor cells on that mammary gland will collect the saliva and try to detect the information in that saliva, and they will send the signal to the brain, and that's how the mother's body will now swing into action and start releasing antibodies, start releasing antibacterial properties into the breast milk. That's if the baby is sick, because the saliva will contain some particles of the bacteria, virus, and all of that. So the receptor will pick it up and send signal to the brain, and that's how the mother's body will release antibodies, will release immune cells, it will release antiviral properties into the breast milk, and that's how the baby will be suckling and be taking in those antibodies, the antibacterial properties, and whatever it is, and that's how the baby will get well. And remember, breast milk already contains antibacterial properties, but when this baby is sick, the quantity, the amount of the antibacterial property in the breast milk gets higher, like it increases, because the breast milk is being released based on the need of the baby. The mammary glands collect those signals and they send it to the brain, and they say, okay, there's an infection going on. So what will happen is the composition of the breast milk will change. So if the breast milk releases like 10% of antibiotics or 10% of antibodies or immune cells, now in this situation, when the baby is sick, the percentage will increase probably to 50% or to even 60%. That's how it works. So the composition of the breast milk will change based on the need of the baby. Also, if the baby is dehydrated, the same way that the saliva that trickles into the mammary gland, the receptor will pick the information, relay it to the brain, and then they will release more water in the breast milk. So the water content of the breast milk will be higher in this situation. The breast milk has a very good amount of water content, but when the baby is dehydrated, the same process happens. More water will be released in the breast milk and the baby will be rehydrated again. That's how the body adjusts to the needs of the baby. And this is why when your baby is sick, they will tell you to breastfeed your baby often, even though the baby might not be so willing to suckle. But you'll be advised to breastfeed your baby often, because the more you breastfeed the baby, the more the body releases those antibiotics, those agents that is needed to fight the illness in that baby. That will help the baby to get well quicker, even better, more quicker than the medication you might even be given. That's why breast milk is a very good food. It's, in fact, it's the absolute best to nothing food to the baby. And that's why you're advised to give your baby breast milk. Kindly share this video so that other mothers will learn.